Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. My gosh, what a fantastic live stream we had earlier this evening. And I've just been catching up with a couple of people following the live stream. And now we get to the emails. And Rob has sent me a very, very interesting and detailed response to that interview I had with Colin Weir about the fake pilot licenses with South African Airways. And I'm going to just tell you what he says and put it out there because it's very, very interesting. And he says, "Good day, Scott. I saw your YouTube clip, Don't Fly South African Airways, last night, the 3rd of June 2019, with Colin Weir. As a South African and a pilot, I do think a bit more clarification is required. In flying circles, the license issued was known. The licenses issued were not fake licenses, but rather genuine licenses fraudulently obtained. Colin could possibly explain more, but as I understand it back then, the SAA had a limited question bank in a paper format. You would be given a question set and write the exam. It was these question sets were being sold. So if you purchased, say, question set C, you could learn the answers. When you came to write the exam, you'd also get question set C. I guess that some also found this too difficult and just paid for a license to be issued. One will never know now. When this license issue came to light, the South African Airways SAA, which is the Civil Aviation Authority, was told to clean up its act or South African Airways pilots would be banned from European skies. This was a wake-up call, and the South African Airways SAA changed its exam procedures from paper to computerized multi-choice format, with the questions coming from European Central Question Bank run by EASA. The size of the official ECQB, or European Central Question Bank, as maintained by EASA, is in the range of 10,000 to 12,000 questions. However, there are several versions of the questions bank in use by individual civil aviation authorities, or CAAs. When I've done exams at the CAA in Johannesburg, I found the staff and procedures very professional. Each person writing the exam is allocated a cubicle with a computer. You are not allowed to take any bags, cell phones, etc. into the exam room. Scrap paper is provided on request and is not allowed to be removed from the room at the end of the exam. The exams are generally 50 multiple-choice questions that are randomly generated from the ECQB International Question Bank of about 10,000 questions. In theory, one writing the exam in the UK could get the same question as someone writing the exam in South Africa. It is easier to learn the work than to try and memorize 10,000 potential questions. Above each cubicle is a CCTV camera, and you are monitored to ensure no cheating. I can't complain about the way I've been treated by the South African Airways SAA. As I said, I found them to be very professional and helpful. While I'm sure that everyone has their price and a license can be obtained if the price is right, I'm reasonably confident that this is no longer happening within the South African SAA. Why would I fly South African Airways? And he says, not out of choice. South African Airways, like most things, is BEE mad. We have seen in many sectors that the ANC have their fingers in, where people are promoted beyond their abilities. Sadly, I feel that South African Airways is no different, and the first crop of BEE pilots lack the required level of experience that one only gets by doing the time as a first or second officer. The young black pilots I have met in the last few years are, however, different. They are passionate about flying, unlike the first crop of BEE pilots, who were there just for the job. The new black pilots realize that it will take years to get the experience necessary to sit in the left seat, and they are happy to do the time, and I do wish them well. The other reason I'm not comfortable with flying South African Airways, as Colin alluded to, is the quality of maintenance or lack of it. South African Airways, as part of the BEE thing, got rid of the technical expertise to get the race balance correct. No thought was given to the fact that aircraft need to be maintained to a standard far higher than a minibus taxi. South African Airways need to build up their technical expertise. Maybe then I will consider flying with them. And then he goes to talk about the South African Flight 295 Heidelberg, which a lot of people have referred to. And he says, there are a lot of conspiracy theories about the Helderberg, and the most convenient one for all parties has been that there was some type of rocket fuel or something needed for the South African arms industry at the time. A few years ago, I met someone who was part of the South African diplomatic mission in Taipei in 1987. His job was to inspect the aircraft and cargo and verify that the cargo manifests and cargo matched. He was on duty that day and inspected the cargo and found nothing untowards with the cargo. The aircraft was also subject to a random inspection by the Taiwanese Customs Authority. They found nothing out of the ordinary. Interestingly, both these people were never called to give evidence at the inquiry into the fire and subsequent crash. The aircraft was a 747 Combi, a passenger freighter configuration. The wiring in the aircraft was most likely insulated with an insulation called Kapton or Mylar. Kapton insulated electrical wiring has been widely used in civil and military aircraft because it is lighter than other insulators and has a good insulating and temperature characteristics. However, Kapton insulation ages poorly. An FAA study shows degradation in under 100 hours in a hot, humid environment or in the presence of seawater. It was found to have a very poor resistance to mechanical wear, mainly abrasion, within cable harnesses due to aircraft movement. Many aircraft models have had to undergo extensive rewiring modifications, sometimes completely, replacing all the Kapton insulated wiring because of short circuits caused by the faulty insulation. Kapton wire degradation and chafing due to vibration and heat has been implicated in multiple crashes of both fixed-wing and rotary-wing aircrafts with loss of life. Swiss Air Flight 111 had a similar installation problem and fire that resulted in a crash. I believe the wiring installation problem would have been very costly for all parties from a wiring replacement side and also the insurance claims. As I said above, the rocket fuel was convenient for all parties. The 747 Combi was quietly withdrawn from service following the Helderberg crash. I don't think you'll find one in a museum. They were probably all cut up. And then he signs off by saying, keep up the good work. And thank you, Rob. Look, this is someone else's insight into this whole issue. The bottom line is he's saying, I wouldn't fly South African Airways. And it's largely to do with the maintenance aspect, not so much the pilots anymore. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell to get the updates, and have a great evening. Bye for now.